Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about Emma, written by Jane Austen. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. All right, so Emma by Jane Austen, a really interesting work here. Emma is not really the type of girl that most people would like. She has everything, in life. Um, most people have things that they have to struggle with, things that they have to deal with, headaches, problems, sicknesses, diseases, poverty, things that make up a lot of human lives, human suffering. One way or another, people have to deal with that, or even if it's not human suffering, just, getting a job, working, paying bills, it's something that humans have had to deal with forever. But Emma, she kind of like skips all of that. She's like, nope, not me, she's born into wealth. She has lots of money, so much money that she never has to work. All right, that's how much money she has. She's beautiful. She's attractive. So in the dating scene, that's not really a problem for her. She's not worried about money. She's not worried about looks. She's not worried about estate. I mean, she lives at home with her doting father, and everything's great. Money's great. She's not worried about marrying quickly or worrying about her youth or if she's going to get the right suitor or marrying a man of high, wealth, and because she's already in the upper class of England, she has it all. So she starts in of a way playing like a godlike figure, trying to be a matchmaker. So her governess leaves her home. The governess goes and gets married, and Emma's like, well, how about this time in my hand? Maybe I should just play matchmaker. So she has her friend by the name of Harriet Smith, and Emma's like, I'm gonna hook up Harriet here. I'm gonna get her a husband, and there's this guy that that proposes, that wants to be with Harriet. But Emma's like, no, 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 you're not gonna be with him. Robert Martin, that's the guy that wanted to marry Harriet Smith, and Emma's like, no, 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 you want someone better, someone in the upper class, and Emma wanted to make Harriet marry or be with Mr. Elton, um, but that doesn't work. Okay, there, Harriet is beautiful. She's a beautiful woman, but she's not in the same class as Mr. Elton, and Emma. She's of a lower class, and Robert Martin, he is a farmer. So, again, a man that has a job, a career, a state. He wants to marry a beautiful woman, and Harriet Smith, but Emma's like, no, I think I could do better. I want you to marry Mr. Elton. But Elton does not want Harriet. He actually wanted Emma. And so you can see the problem there. Yeah, friends that like always try to like set up someone with somebody else, in many ways always ends up badly. Or the person that they're trying to set up with their friend, that person wants them. So that can always end up very badly. So the work goes on with Emma trying to set up Harriet. And everybody that pretty much goes Harriet's way. At one point, it was Frank Churchill. Later, Frank Churchill, that doesn't go through. And then Harriet had fancies or wanted to be with Mr. Knightley, and that doesn't work. And ultimately, Harriet ends up with Robert Martin, the man who wanted to be with her from the beginning. Um, but before we get there, a lot of things happen. Elton with his wife comes back and they take out their anger on Emma, on Harriet. There's, a whole ball where Harriet tries to dance with Elton, Mr. Elton, and he rejects her because, well, you know, wants to, embarrass her. And they're all angry at Emma. Because Emma, first of all, how dare Emma try to get Mr. Ellington with Harriet, who is of a lower class? I mean, come on, man. We're of the upper class. We're not going to marry in the lower classes. So one of the deeper analysis with this work is that class matters, status matters, social positioning matters. Harriet ends up with Robert, who is of a lower class, and so kind of like stay in your place. Don't know your place, stay in your place. The rich marry the rich, the wealthy marry the wealthy, so on and so forth. Um, Jane Fairfax and Frank Churchill, they end up together. They had a secret love. For a point, it seemed like they were going to be with different people. Um, you know, at one point, it looked like Frank and Harriet could have been something, but no. Jane Fairfax and Frank Churchill, they end up together. Um, Emma does end up with Mr. Knightley, and of course, Mr. Elton ends up with his wife, and Harriet ends up with Robert. By the end, Emma and Harriet, they're more of acquaintances rather than good friends. Because again, they're of different classes, and well, here the classes don't mix. So again, this whole work could have, you know, this all these events could have not have happened if Emma didn't meddle. She's a meddler, all right, because she tried to take her friend and put her in another class. Her friend was embarrassed, dragged through the mud, went after men that didn't want her, and the men that did want her is the man that got her. And Harriet could have avoided a lot of pain, a lot of embarrassment, a lot of rejection, in terms of deeper meaning and analysis here. Could have avoided a lot of horrible things that happened to her if she had just married Robert. But Emma was like, I know better. Even Jane Austen here, admitted that Emma's not really like the greatest likable character. And her meddling, she didn't even hear the warning of Mr. Knightley, and he was like, don't just think about the beauty, think about the social status. Status really, really matters for these people. It's not just beauty, it's not just wealth, it's status, it's family lineage. And again, this is England we're talking about. This is the society that had a king and queen and bloodline and all. These things matter in these social circles. So Emma's meddling, you know, her meddling even, kind of comes back and hurts her because at some point, Harriet had an interest towards Mr. Knightley. And Emma was like, "Oh, I have to distance myself from Harriet because I want to be with Knightley. I want to marry Knightley, and no one but me should marry Knightley." Well, she did get her wish. She does marry Knightley. But her meddling and trying to get people set up, almost took the man that she loved away from her, or it impacted her in a way because, well, let's be honest, Knightley had a love for Emma as well, and they do end up together. So that is very interesting. When you're looking at the social classes here within this work, you're looking at the meddling of Emma. You're looking at when people are bored. Again, when people have too much money, and they don't have to worry about bills or finances or the struggles of life, they do things like this. They meddle or they try to play some type of godlike figure in other people's lives because Emma, was an influence in Harriet's life. She was an influence in Elton's life, trying to play, this role that I know better. I know what I can do, not listening to others. And ultimately, what she tried to set up never worked. Everything ended up how it was supposed to end up. Jane Fairfax and Frank Churchill, they end up together. Um, Emma ends up with Knightley, which seemed appropriate. Harriet ends up with Robert, which seemed appropriate. And it kind of like, by the end, we're like, well, this is pretty much how this was supposed to end up from the beginning. We just had to take a long detour to get to here, and people had to learn a few lessons and grow up. Ultimately, one thing that this work really boils down to is Emma growing up. That, you can't be God, you can't play in people's lives, that what will be, will be. So it's a very interesting work in that sense. So that's all I had to say about it. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.